week, for 1 week, I kept saying, no does not mean no. I was even telling my son, Isaac, no does not mean no. We have to push through. So after hearing that, and I meditated on the, the fact that they're telling me no, I would still push for the appointment. So people were telling me, yeah, I'm not ready to sell now. And then I would tell them, well, if not now, when? And it's just an opinion. Why not just at least look at the numbers? And you don't have to do anything today. It could be in 2 years or 5 years. Let's set an appointment. And then another conversation starts. And so people are becoming more open, but because I'm having to push through the no, which I've never done in my whole entire career. 19 years, I've never pushed.
Wow. Let me reiterate that one more time for the entire team. 19 years in Trina's career, she got the no, like most of us do. We receive a no at an open house. We receive a no on an online lead. We receive no at a door knock or a cold call. And what do? We stop at the no. And it's not because anything's wrong with us. It's because we're not trained on how to get beyond the no. See, the no is just, you have to understand the person on the other line, the other side, there's some sort of, if they own the property, there's some sort of interest that they have when it comes, as it relates to their home. Maybe they don't want to sell, but they want to know the value. Maybe they want to know the value because they want to sell to buy. Maybe they want to know the value because they want to sell to rent. They're tired of owning and they want to pay off debt. There's some sort of solution or interest. It's our job to find what that interest might be. But the issue is, as sales professionals, we're not trained to go beyond the no. We get the no, we get discouraged, we get embarrassed, we get in our own head, and we're like, oh, this is so dumb, I feel dumb. Okay, let me just quickly, you know what's even worse? Man, I don't know if this happened to you, Trina. What's even worse is this. Some people knock on the door and they hope to get a no so that they could walk away quickly and get away from that embarrassment. And then as a sales agent, some of us even feel good. We say, I went door knocking, nothing happened, but we feel good that we actually did the activity. We're training our central nervous system to be okay with the rejection, not with the outcome. And what ends up happening is now we're grounding that behavior. And every time we go door knocking, every time we host an open house, we're okay with not getting anything because we're just okay with the action alone and not the result. But we have to train to go beyond that no. We have to train our central nervous system and our body to fight for that result. That's the true victory right there. And Trina, that's incredible. We've been working now for almost 2 months together. And just watching your development, I think it's every other Thursday I've been meeting with Trina. We've been talking about door knocking scripts and just breakthroughs. And I'm so glad to see that you're winning now. So congratulations on that.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Yes, my nervous system was used to the no's. And I just, you know what? I have a listing, I'm happy about that. And I'm just hunting now. Thank you. Yeah. It's just, I think, I have to just continue to, and another thing is we have to constantly role play and exercise and remind ourselves because it's our nervous system, like you said. So thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Awesome. Thank you so much, Trina. You guys give a round of applause. It's exciting stuff. And I guess we're going to go ahead and segue now. If you have any questions, again, just for those of you who just joined a little late, today's Winner Circle Wednesday call was supposed to be hosted by someone else. They were unable to make it last second. So I'm jumping in and filling in for them. So if you have any questions or anything you want to address, please drop it in the chat or just open your mic and ask. Let's have a conversation. I don't know the answer to everything, but the things I do know the answers to, I'll give you the best of my ability there. Anything regarding sales, marketing, and if there's no questions, I'm just going to transition into something since we're already on the topic, which is sales. And you're going to, you might follow people like Andy Elliott, Grant Cardone. You might follow people like Jordan Belfort, all these sales mastery wizards and all of it. And although, Andy Elliott, master car salesman and knows how to handle objections in cars and sales. Grant Cardone, master product seller. He knows how to sell products at a high level and his products for selling and coaching, etc. Then you're going to have people like Brian Tracy and all these OGs in selling that talk about selling mindset. The one thing that I know well is sales in real estate. How to talk to the pain point of homeowners, how to talk to the pain point of home buyers and renters, and do it in a way where it's not pushy, but it's very encouraging and you're not taking the no for the answer. So as a reminder, what I want to do today is I want to give you guys a refresher on the fundamentals of selling to people, and it relates to door knocking, cold calling. You're receiving an inbound lead. And a lot of you might be closing deals right now. You might be doing really, really well. But my question to you is this: are you closing those deals because people already know you, like you, and trust you? And what about the deals that are cold? What if we were to take you, the sales professional, and I would say we took all your business away, we took all your influence away, but the one thing we didn't take away was your sales skills? Do you have the ability to go out there, stand in front of a door, knock on it with a pen, paper, and a flyer, and convert that person you don't know into a seller? If I were to give you a phone and a script in a neighborhood and say, cold call this entire neighborhood, do you have the ability to close 10%, 20% of those leads based on your skill set alone? And if the answer is maybe, I'm not sure, or no, then that's what today's call is going to be about. We'll discuss the fundamentals of getting in rapport and closing these people. So let's dive right into it. And please, if you have a question, drop it in the chat. And Cherish, if you can do me a huge favor, let's spotlight that person when the question comes in, and let's handle it. So today's gonna be around sales, closing and sales when it comes to real estate marketing, real estate. So let's talk about the fundamentals of it. The first thing that we have to know when it comes to sales is identifying the personality type. One of my biggest pet peeves in sales, and this is something that I deal with every new sales agent that I train and everything like that, is we haven't mastered the art of sales when it comes to real estate. We get a license, we're given a script, we're told by our managers and our brokers, just go out there and sell and close more people. We're told to go talk to our sphere of influence, and that's how we're trained to go out there and build our business. And then what ends up happening? Either some of us sink or some of us swim. And those who swim do so because people just naturally like us and want to do business with us. But the skill is never developed. In order to become a doctor, you have 8 to 12 years of schooling. In order to become an attorney, you have 8 to 12 years of schooling. In order to become any profession, 4, 8, 12 years of schooling you have to go through. A real estate agent, 6 months, and you get a license. Look at the difference in training. Look at the time amount of commitment you have to get into it. So just getting the license isn't good enough. So my question to all of you is, where's the higher level education? Where's the education on sales, customer service, closing, system and processes, administrative work? Real estate only teaches you how many square feet are in an acre, how many acres are in a townsend, whatever that word is called, that I never even used after I used it one time on the California training, the class that we had to get our license. After we ended up learning those terms, I never used them ever again. 90% of what I studied for, I never used in real estate. I'll tell you what I did use. I did use sales. I did use marketing. I did use closing. I did use learning how to deal with conflict. They didn't teach me on the real estate exam how to deal with conflict. They didn't say, if you made a mistake, Gabe, during the contract process, how do you go back to your client, own the mistake, and create a resolution? They didn't teach me how to have customer service. I didn't come from a background of restaurant and customer service. That wasn't my background. I came from a background of sales. All I knew how to do was close, 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 close. So when I ran into a problem, I'll be the first to admit to all of you, when I ran into a problem, I sometimes early in my career got mad at my own clients, and I gave them attitude. And I said, wait, do you understand what I'm going through? Do you know what I have to deal with? Do you know what I did for you? I mouthed off a couple of times and I lost some clients because of it. But that was because I was never taught the ability to deal with conflict resolution. I got sent out to so many listing appointments in 2014. 2014, I was a cold caller. I set so many appointments, and my team lead in 2014 left me hanging at the listing appointments. He didn't show up. He would text me right before the listing appointment, I can't make it. And this was because he was hungover. He got into a fight with his girlfriend, and I got discouraged. I made no money in 2014 except for one sale. I sold one property in 2014, and that was to my mom. Sold her a property in 2014. And yes, no shame in my life, I took a picture of her in front of the property with the sold sign, and I said, congratulations, Mrs. Mendez, on your home purchase in Bonita. Thank you for hiring me. It was my mom. My cousins looked at me and were like, dude, that's your mom. What are you talking about, bro? But I had to promote the sale. I actually went back to a job at the end of 2014 for 6 months because I had no money at all. I went back to a job for 6 months. In 2015, I got back into real estate sales. So I understand what it's like not to have the skills. I understand what it's like not to be able to sell, to be able to close and connect with people. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. The fundamentals of sales, and this is going to just be an overview conversation of it. and a refresher for a lot of you. And for a lot of you, this might be an eye opener. Damn, I need to step my skill set, my game up a little bit. Let's talk about what that actually looks like. 4 major personality types. Salespeople on the call today, write this down. There are 4 major personality types. You probably are either a D, I, S, or C, is what all of you are, a D, I, S, or a C. A D personality on the DISC assessment. No, let's talk about the DISC assessment. Maybe some of you don't even know what that is. DISC assessment. This is the personality test. You can take it on Tony Robbins' website for free. There are a lot of websites where you can take the test for free. And if you take this test, it's going to tell you what personality type you are. So if you don't know what personality type you are, you don't know if you're a D, I, S, C, you're never going to know how people should talk to you. You're never going to be able to articulate in words how you're feeling and what you're thinking based on who you are on a chemical level, on a mind level. You're never gonna be able to articulate that to other people. So if you can't articulate it, how can you expect people to work with you? If you're in a leadership position, you are never going to know how to work with your people if you don't have them take a DISC assessment test to identify their personality types. DISC assessment will tell you what type of person you are, how you handle conflict, how you like to be spoken to, what your fears are, what your strengths are. That's what DISC assessment is. I encourage all of you in 2024, go take a new DISC assessment test to find out what you are exactly. Now let's briefly go over what they are and how to identify them in your team and in your leads. D stands for driver. This is someone who is very result oriented. This is someone that you look at them and they look mean. This is someone, when you ask them a question, they give you a very direct answer. This is someone who's all work and no play. That is D personality. Then you have the I personality. D stands for driver. I stands for influencer. The influencer is the life of the party. Think about in your circle, who's the person that's always smiling, always happy, always the first one at the happy hour. This is the person that will forego the work, the busy work. They will not do the paperwork. They will not do the administrative work, but they will go out there and show property. They'll close deals and they'll figure everything out later. They're the person that the house might be on fire in the back, but they're in the front with a bottle of tequila, very happy, and they're just the life of the party. That's the influencer. It's the person who's always smiling. How can you identify this person? When you ask them how they're doing or how everything is going, they're the person who will give you a long-winded answer. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad that you asked. Let me tell you, and they'll just talk and talk and talk and talk. That's the I personality. It's the influencer, it's the party goer. Complete opposite from the D personality, who's very straight to the point. I want results, no kumbaya, no hugs. The I personality wants the hugs, they want the kumbaya. Let's talk about the S personality, the person who's secure, the steadiness person. This is the passive aggressive person. This is the person that'll smile to your face and say everything's okay and then ghost you. This is the person that said, yeah, you know what, we're probably going to work with you, and then never answer your phone call ever again. This is the person that will never say anything to your face, but will break down crying in the background and say, oh my gosh, this is that person. How can you identify them? This is probably the most difficult out of all the personalities to identify, because they have a little bit of I inside of them where they look like they're outgoing, but this is the person that's very reserved. That when you look at them, they're very mild-mannered. Their mannerisms aren't a lot. They don't speak with their hands. They're not very out there with their voice. It takes time to build trust with them. It's the person that you think everything's okay, but you have no deep connection with. This is my wife. My wife is a very high S personality. Cherish. She's a very high S personality. She's the type of person that tell you everything's okay, and then you come home after work and she's crying. That's years ago, everything's okay now, but I'm telling you how the relationship first started. She's a very high S personality. I had to learn how to figure out how to work with an S personality. I had to learn how to slow down, calm down, not go results oriented. S personality, very secured. You want to build the trust with this person, and then that wall will come down. Now you have the C personality, the conscientious, the compliance person. This is the person that's very data analytical, very data driven. This is the person that loves to see the spreadsheets, that loves to see the information. I want more info before I make a decision. These are your engineers, your doctors, your some of your attorneys. Most of your attorneys are D personality. These are people who you would call them AKA some nerds, for instance. Those are your C personality type people. Now, how would you identify their personality type off of one question alone? This is my favorite question of all time. This question that you ask will identify if they're a D, I, S, or C. And in addition to identifying their personality type, it'll identify their mood. You might have a very high I personality, but if that person's in a bad mood, that I personality is not going to look like an I personality. So this is my favorite question. Write this one down. I want all of you to remove from your sales language. No more in your sales language are you going to ask, how are you doing? You are not going to ask people how they're doing. Number one, it's disingenuous. You really don't care how they're doing in a sales environment. If you're knocking on the door and they open it up, are you really going to ask them how they're doing? And then are you really ready for them to tell you that their dog Snooky just passed away and they're going to start crying at the door and you have 100 flyers in your hand and it's 100 degrees outside and you're sweating buckets? Are you really prepared to have that answer, have that conversation? Maybe some of you are, but in a sales environment, probably not. So remove and erase how are you doing from your sales vocabulary. Moving forward, you will only ask this question. How's it going? How's it going? So you knock on the door, hey, happy Sunday, how's it going today? Get on the phone, how's it going today? This will give you two answers based on their response. If they, based on the response, it'll let you know what personality type they are, and it'll let you know what mood they're in. If you ask a D personality, someone like me, I'm a D personality if you haven't figured it out already. I'm very results driven, I'm very direct, and I'm very raw, and I'm all in every day, 100%, 100 miles per hour. That's just who I am. D personality. If you ask a D personality, how's it going? They might answer you like this, good. And you might say, man, this guy's rude, he's mean. No, he's not rude, he's not mean. He's just a D personality. If you ask an I personality, how's it going? They may say something like this, ay, mija, it's going so good, or bro, it's going so awesome. I just did, and they start talking and they start moving their hands a lot. That's an I personality. And I see a couple of smiles because some of you are like, I am that I personality. And I see some of you smiling when I said D because you had that conversation with me and I said, good. S personality, they're very soft spoken. They're very sweet. They're very minimal on their words, but they will engage in conversation. Again, S personality is a little deceptive. And then you have the C personality. They're very matter of fact, conscientious. They're very direct, very monotone. They sound like this. Hi, good afternoon. Yeah, everything's great. Thank you for asking. How about on your end? Wonderful. Hey, I had a couple of questions about the data that you sent. And they're very direct, matter of fact. They're not aggressive. They're not mean. They don't have that mean undertone like a D personality does. They have a very matter of fact tonality, very monotone tonality when they're speaking to you. So in a sales environment, when you're knocking on a door, when you're answering the phone call, when you're taking a lead from Zillow or whatever it might be, ask how's it going? And you're going to identify their personality type. If they are a D personality, get straight to the point. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I'm teaching you how to build rapport right here. This is how you build rapport with all the different personality types. Number one, I just taught you how to identify it. Number two, I'm going to teach you how to connect with them quickly. Can someone tell me, Jordan, not you, can someone tell me how you build rapport with a person? Someone open the mic, throw the answer out. How do you build rapport?
Being genuine, relatable.
Okay,
Personable.
genuine and relatable. I love it. What else?
Communicating. Just
Communicating. Someone said ask. What else? One more
I
person.
said ask questions. Sorry, I didn't finish. I didn't want to interrupt. Hi, Gay. Hi, everyone. So what I wanted to see is ask questions that topics that they're interested on, and you can, kind of get to know them.
I love that. These are all really great answers. Let me give you the answer right now. You heard some really, really good answers in there. Now, there are some challenges with what all of you said. I'm gonna answer your question like this. Listen very carefully. How many of you have traveled internationally to a foreign country? Just open the mic or drop it in the chat. How many of you have traveled to a foreign country?
I have. I've been in Germany.
Germany. I love it. Let's stick with this one. Who said Germany?
Me, Jordan.
Jordan. All right, Jordan, you've been in Germany. Stick with me for a second. When you went to Germany, you traveled over to Germany. True or true? Their laws, their customs, their mannerisms are different than those of the United States.
Oh, way different.
Completely different. True or true? If you went to Germany and you did not respect and adopt their mannerisms, laws, and cultures, you would be out of rapport with them.
Very true.
If you went to Germany and you lived how you lived in the United States, you still lived as if you lived by the laws of the United States in Germany. You lived by the cultures of the United States in Germany. If you traveled over there to their country, their homeland, and you lived as if you did in the United States, but you were respectful and you were kind, but you lived as you did in the United States, wouldn't that get you in trouble because the laws and cultures and everything are different?
Very true.
Cherish, can you please meet that other person?
It's email them.
Cherish, I need your help. Thank you. Very true. My point is this to you, ladies and gentlemen. You can be kind. You can be relatable. You can ask really good questions. But if you went to Germany with the customs, cultures, and laws of the United States, and you tried living over there by the customs, cultures, and laws of the United States, you would get slapped, you'd get thrown in jail, you'd get arrested, because the cultures, laws, and customs are completely different in Germany. So let me ask you a question. If you go to Germany, you should do what Germany wants you to do. You should talk the way they want you to talk. You should respect their culture. You should act as them. But some people say to me in sales, but Gabe, that's being fake. It's not who I am. Are you telling me that when I go to a seller's house, a buyer appointment, that I should pretend to be like them? Yes. Are you saying that I should speak like them, act like them, have mannerisms like them? Yes, you should act like that. But Gabe, it's being fake. It's not being fake. It's being respectful. See, the golden rule in life says treat other people how you want to be treated. The platinum rule in sales says treat other people how they want to be treated. Let me say that one more time, ladies and gentlemen. The golden rule says treat people how you want to be treated. The sales platinum rule says treat people how they want to be treated. The reason a lot of you can't connect, the reason a lot of you can't close is because you are treating the people how you want to be treated. You're speaking to them in your language. You're talking to them in your culture, in your laws, in your rules. You're pretending to be in America when you went to Germany. When you step into someone else's home for a listing appointment, when they come in for a buyer pre-approval appointment, it is two countries coming together. And if you want to connect and if you want to close, you better change countries really fast. That means mirror and match. Building rapport is not similar interests. You don't go into someone's house and say, you like to golf? I love to golf. You have a daughter? I have a daughter. That's not building rapport. Building rapport is similar behaviors. Similar behaviors. I'll prove it to you. I'll prove it to you. How many of you have best friends that are just like you? How many of you, all your friends are kind of like you? You guys like the same things. You guys hang out with each other. You guys talk about the same things. You have similar values, similar interests. You guys are kind of the same, right? And some of you can't stand people who are complete opposite of you. It's because similar behavior builds rapport, not similar interests in sales. So if you want to close more people, want to close more listings, want to close more buyers, learn to mirror and match their behavior. Learn to mirror and match their tonality. Learn to mirror and match their personality type. They're a D personality, become a D personality. They're an I personality, become an I personality. So naturally, I'm a D. But if I sit across the table from someone who's a C personality, conscientious, they're very compliant, I'm coming to that listing appointment with glasses on. And I'm sitting there and I'm just mild-mannered. Yes. And I'm very mild-mannered with my mannerisms. If I'm a D personality and I meet a D personality, I will take a lower position because I don't want to offend the D personality. I don't want them to think that I'm trying to overrun the whole conversation here, but I don't back down. A D personality does not want to deal with someone who's weak. They want someone who's a shark and who's a killer. The only person, if I was not a real estate agent, the only person I would ever hire to sell my house, if I was not a real estate agent, is someone who's a shark. Someone who came in here and was like, Mr. Mendez, let me tell you something about this. Look, I want to respect your time this afternoon, but I'm going to tell you this. I'm top 1% of my company, top 1% of the country. Here's my proposal. Listen, I'm not the cheapest, but I am the best. I'm not going to charge you maximum value because I want to earn your business. All I ask is that at the end, when I deliver the results, is that you refer me to 2 friends and family. Does that sound fair to you? I'd be like, damn, this guy's a shark. He's sharp as a tack. I would not want to sell my house to someone who comes in and like, oh my gosh, this is fabulous. We're going to do this and that and this and that. And we're going to be, I'd be like, oh my gosh, get to the point already. Because I have to identify the personality type. So I'm trying to give you all a crash course when it comes to building rapport. After you ask the question, how's it going? And you identify their D, I, S, or C. Mirror and match that behavior. I want you to have similar behavior to them. Yes. Does that mean if they lean back, you lean back? Yes. Does that mean if they slow down, you slow down? Yes. Is it going to feel a little uncomfortable in the beginning? Yes. I'll finish this portion with this. Have you, this is a good question here. How many of you have ever watched a low budget film? Drop it in the chat. Have you ever watched a low budget film? You know, the type that just has like very cheap filming quality. The actors aren't even really selling it that well. And you're like, oh, this is kind of corny. And you watch it and they're like, oh no, mom, don't jump off the cliff, or, you know, whatever it might be. And like, you're just seeing their facial expressions. You're not buying it. How many of you have seen a low budget film? Drop it in the chat.
All of us.
I think all of us have seen something, right? I see one person only one person seen a low budget film. If only Caesar and Trina, okay. All of you, Sandra said yes, Gabe, a couple of people, yes. So it doesn't seem like a lot of you have watched a low budget film. I want all of you to go out there and watch a low budget film today. Why low budget film? You're going to see what poor acting gets you. Question for everybody. If your acting skills are not the greatest, if you don't know how to emote with your face, if you don't know how to sell emotion with your tonality and your delivery, are you going to get asked to film a Titanic movie, a Notebook movie, if you have bad acting skills?
No.
No, you're not going to get hired. The best actors in the world not only know the script, but they know how to deliver the script on camera.
Mm.
And the best actors in the world know how to get you to feel something. I cry all the time I watch Titanic. I don't know why. But Leonardo DiCaprio, when he passes away, my heart sinks. I'm like, dang. And I start crying about a story that never even happened. Leonardo DiCaprio never even existed on that. Jack never existed. It was just a made-up story in Titanic. Titanic happened, but not Jack. But why am I crying about something that never made sense? Because their ability to act. The most highest paid actors are the ones who know the words, AKA the script. Your listing presentation, your buyer presentation, your door knocking script, your cold calling script. They know the script, but they also know how to deliver it to the people that are watching. My question to all of you is this: are you putting in the hours? Are you learning the script? Are you learning how to deliver? That's my question to all of you. Are you becoming the Leonardo DiCaprio of listings? The Rose of listings? Are you learning how to master it at that deep level that when someone sits across the table from you, they believe what you say? No. Again, some of you might say to yourself, oh, but this is me being fake. It's not who I am. It's not being fake. It's called being respectful. If you travel to Germany, you will, for sure, learn their customs, their laws, and their rules. Same exact thing here in sales. You are traveling to another country. I want you to learn how to sell, because the moment you learn how to sell and connect with people, the moment you can start closing more deals. The moment you start closing more deals, you begin getting in a rhythm of closing transactions. And then now you no longer have commission breath. You don't have to close the next deal to pay your bills. And now sellers and buyers hire you because of your service. And then eventually you can stop mirroring and matching. Eventually you can stop doing all that. And eventually you can just be you, and they hire you because of that. Trust me, I know. I've done it for 10 years. I've sold to C's, I's, S's, and D's. I've sold $7 million properties. I've sold $100,000 manufactured homes. Majority of my inventory right now are listings. I have 3 active listings. I have 4 listings in escrows. I know how to talk to sellers, and I know how to close these transactions at a very, very, very high level. So I want you guys to ask the question, how is it going? And quite Cherish, if there's any questions in the chat, let me know, because I'm just going on right now, and I know we're at 10:42. So I need to make sure that I'm respecting the time as well. Ask the question, how is it going? Identify their personality type, and then you're going to mirror and match their personality type right after that. And remember, rapport is built by common that. Number 3 is this: tonality. Your tonality, how you deliver and how you communicate with people, is everything. See, you have 3 major tonalities. You have a tonality where it's monotone. You talk like this and it's like a straight line. That's a monotone tonality. This is where you're talking in a straight line. Then you have a tonality where it ends with the downswing. That every single time someone says something, it falls off the cliff at the very end. Politicians are very good with that. Professors are very good with monotone tonalities. And then you have a tonality that has an upswing at the very end. I think they used to call them valley girls in California. Like, oh my gosh, can you believe that? Like you did, Hispanics, Latinos, Mexicans, we have upswings at the end of our voice. A lot of times we kind of talk like this, and at the very end it goes up and we talk like that. If you want to create authority with your voice, you must learn how to speak in a downswing manner. I'm going to say that again. If you want to pick up these $1 million, $2 million, $7 million listings, you have to learn how to communicate with them effectively. I know, because I used to be the person who had an upswing. I used to be the person who didn't know how to master his own voice. Let me tell you how powerful having a masterful voice is. Having a masterful voice is so powerful that it can take a person, an African American male, and take him and turn him into the first Black president of the United States, Barack Obama. He's Black in America, and he became president. How powerful is that? And yeah, maybe his policies and maybe because of X, Y, and Z, but the number one skill that he had was communication. He knew how to take red and blue, Republic, Democrat, and everything in between, and unite both parties through his communication skills alone. I don't care what your political views are. I'm not talking about that today. I'm talking about this man's ability to communicate so effectively that an entire nation got behind him and voted for the first African-American president because of his ability to communicate. My question to all of you is this: how many of you are spending time on your ability to communicate? Are you learning how to speak clearly? Are you learning how to enunciate your T's and your S's? Are you articulate with your words? Can you take a complex idea and condense it into something short, where your consumer can listen one time and understand what you're saying? Or do you catch yourself mumbling? Do you catch people saying, "Excuse me, what did you say?" Do you catch yourself having to repeat your ideas because it's so complex that you can't break it down into bite-sized information? This is called communication. The art of communication is so important in sales, because maybe your personality was likable and they said yes to you. Maybe your personality was so amazing, you built rapport with them. That'll get you, building rapport and being likable will get you in the door. Your ability to communicate will keep you in the door. If you can't communicate with that person effectively when they're sitting across the kitchen table, if you can't communicate with that person effectively when they call you, they will say, "Thank you, no thank you, we'll get back to you," and they'll never answer the call again. It wasn't because of your presentation. It wasn't because you didn't have the most fanciest listing presentation. It wasn't because of the sales comparables. It was because your inability to effectively communicate to that other person. I know, because you're looking at a person with a big cholo tattoo across his chest, who grew up, graduated high school 4 years late, who didn't have a degree, that is now selling $1, $2, $7 million listings with some of the most wealthiest people I've ever met in San Diego because of my ability to communicate. I took 8 years of my life and I took communications courses, and I learned how to take complex ideas and shorten them up. I knew how to enunciate my words. So at the end of the words, my S's and my T's and my I's sound very clear. I made sure that I practiced in front of a mirror many, many, many hours. I sat in front of a crowd and I practiced many, many, many hours. And now that skill of learning how to build rapport, talk and close, communicate and close is paying me $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a month because I've learned that skill. My encouragement to all of you on today's call is learn the skill of communication. Today is just an overview. I'm telling you the basics of understandings, but it's your responsibility to take what I'm teaching you today and go deeper into it. Delve deeper into the study of communication. Learn how to speak with a powerful tonality. Gabe, what's some of the things that I can do right now to start speaking with a powerful tonality? I'm glad that all of you asked. I want you to find one powerful person that you like, one influential, powerful person in the world, and I want you to start mimicking their tonality. So for men, it might be Simon Sinek. It might be Barack Obama. Again, I don't care about your political views here. I'm talking about their ability to communicate. And I want you to start mimicking it. Men, I want you to start mimicking their tonality, their downswing. You're going to notice with Simon Sinek, no upswings unless it's intentional. He'll never talk and say something like this. He'll never talk and like, how that, the upswing at the very end of the voice, it'll never happen. It's always a downswing. And he's very relaxed with his tonality. Women, you might ask, well, who might I follow? You might follow someone like Michelle Obama or Candace Owens, women with very powerful voices that are very stern and command a lot of respect. Hillary Clinton's another beautiful voice that I love. So what might you do? You might sit there on your car ride to the office every day, and you might play Barack Obama in the background, Michelle Obama in the background, and they might say a sentence and you're going to repeat it afterwards just the way they delivered it. This is probably the most effective way for you to train your communication skills. Learn how to open your mouth when you're communicating. Open it big and tall, and learn how to speak from your diaphragm. Point number 2 on how to develop a stronger voice immediately is breathing and speaking from your diaphragm. Now, right now, I'm speaking from my diaphragm. I'm taking deep breaths in my nose, in my belly. I'm controlling my breath on the way out. This is diaphragm. This is throat. This is throat voice right here. And this is nasal. Nasal, throat, diaphragm. And most people speak from their throat. And what ends up happening is when they're speaking, they run out of air. They go, oh yeah, I'm talking like this and like that, and then you see their chest coming up, and they're breathing, and they're all the way up here. And Hispanics do this a lot. Latinos do this a lot. Mexicans do this a lot. We'll speak all the way up here, and we'll take a deep breath, and then we'll talk down here again. We get all the way up. But gringos, Trina, like you were saying, most educated gringos that you run into, they're very relaxed. They're mild-mannered. They speak from the diaphragm. There's no rush. And it's not a bad thing, but in the Latino culture, we're used to talking very fast. We're used to speaking with our hands. We're very emotional. We emote a lot with our face and our hands. But we have to learn how to peel that back when it's time. Look at the presidential debates. Do you guys see any of the presidential candidates talking like this and emoting with their hands? Absolutely not. They're behind the podium, their posture, their demeanor, and they're calm and mild-mannered, and they're having conversations with their tonality. This is power. This is how you create that perception of power and authority with your seller and your buyer. So maybe your skill set isn't the best. Maybe your experience isn't the largest. But if you can command and demand presence and poise and power through your posture and your tonality, 80% of the victory is already won. 93% of the victory is already won. I'm going to wrap up with these 2 final thoughts. Sales is a pie chart. And whether someone believes you or not, in any sales environment, there's a pie chart. And these are the metrics. I believe it is 63% of a person's decision on whether or not they hire you. 63%, and Rashad, maybe you can fact check this for me. It's the sales pie chart. I want to get accurate numbers, please. I know 7% is the words. 63% is tonality. Nonverbal communication. Over 50% of a person's decision on whether or not they hire you, they believe you, they want to work with you, has nothing to do with the words that you say and how you deliver your words. Cherish, maybe you can fact check that for me, the percentage. It's nonverbal, then it's the words, and then it's tonality. Over 50% of a person's decision on whether or not they hire you has nothing to do with the words that you say or how you say it. It has everything to do with your body language. Everything with what your body is saying. Let me ask all of you a question. Have you guys been to a party, a dinner, an event, and someone walks in and you've never met them, but out of nowhere, you get bad vibes? Have you guys ever gone to a family party, an event, something, and someone walks in, or maybe you're leaving dinner, you're leaving an event, and someone walks by or someone walks in, and you just get bad vibes? Drop it in the chat if that's ever happened to you. Brenda says yes. Des says yes. Bad vibes. Yes. Heavy presence. This is because your intuition, that sixth sense, that gut feeling, that intuition picked up on their body language. And without you consciously thinking of it, your sixth sense and your intuition picked up on their body language. And it said, there's just something off about that person. I don't know what it is. I don't feel safe. I don't feel comfortable. I don't want to talk to them. I don't want to be in a relationship with them, but something picked up. Same thing with your seller. If you walk into that listing appointment, you walk up to that door, you answer the phone, Zoom call, in-person presentation, you better practice your mannerisms with your body language. Control your hands, control your breathing. Don't be fidgety. Don't move too quickly. Don't be rigid. Be relaxed and calm and confident. Like a doctor, when you walk into their appointment, the doctor's not fidgety or uncomfortable. They walk in confident with their coat and their clipboard, and they have a conversation with you, very controlling. Over 50% of a person's decision in sales is weighted on your nonverbal communication, not what you say, it's what your body language does. 38% of a person's decision is weighted on your tonality. Ladies and gentlemen, 93%, 55 is body language, 38 is tonality. 93% of whether or not your sellers are saying yes to you or no to you, 93% of whether your buyers are moving forward, 93% of your ability to close someone at an open house has nothing to do with the scripts, nothing to do with the words. 93% has nothing to do with the words. 93% of body language and tonality has everything to do with how you say what you say and what your body is doing. You might be able to say something like this. Ready? Pay attention to this. I might walk up to you at an open house and I might say something like this. Hey, welcome to the open house today. I'm so excited to show you this property. Listen, it's a piece of crap. It's not going to look good, but I promise you're going to want to buy it and pay overvalue price. Let's submit an offer right now. And the words are off. And it might not make a lot of sense, but for some reason, your intuition might pick up on it and say, it felt right. Like it felt like it was supposed to make sense. But when your consciousness picked up on the words, it didn't make any sense at all. And that's because tonality and body language are 93% on someone's decision. So when you ask them how it's going and you define their personality type and you define their mood, then you can then mirror and match because you treat them how they want to be treated. You go into their world. Once you're in rapport with them through similar behavior at that point, now it's up to you to close the deal through your body language, your tonality, 93%, and then 7% are the actual words that you use. It's the script. So is the script important? Yes, but it's only 7% important. How you deliver it and what your body is doing during that delivery process is the most important part. Now, we're at 10:55, we're at the top of the hour. And I wanted to give all of you guys an overview today. And I think I'll go ahead and pause there. And I don't see Chair Shaw, any questions in there? Thank you guys for being here with us today. And if there's any final thoughts or questions, the last couple of minutes, I'm gonna go ahead and open that up for all of you. But again, sales is everything. I want you guys to go out there. I want you to start practicing your script, practicing your tonality, learning how to mirror and match these personality types that are out there. And if you need a refresher, come back to this video and I want you guys to watch it until that refresher happens for you guys there. So that is all I have for you today. And Chair, no questions?
Hey, Gabe, with everything
Yes.
of the disc formula, this book here is called 7 Layers of Communication, 7 Levels of Communication. This is about the whole disc formula there. And it's an amazing book. 7 Layers of Communication by Michael Mayer.
7 Layers of Communication. Awesome, brother. Thank you for sharing that there. Can you drop that in the chat so people can screenshot that? You guys look at the chat so you can see the 7 layers of communication that goes deeper into it. Anyone else have any resources that the rest of the team can use that'll help them out on any topics that we talked about today? Any final questions or thoughts before we wrap up today, team? Michael Mayer, perfect. Awesome, Greg. Thank you, brother. Appreciate that for that. Awesome call today, team. I'm excited to be here. And thank you for listening for the last 45 minutes. If you guys have any questions on this stuff, we're part of the same team. Send me a DM, send me a text message. We'll work on it together. Until then, go out there, crush it, be great. God bless you guys, and we'll chat soon. Bye, guys.
Bye.